Documentary films about wildlife are extremely popular among viewers of all ages. In them, we can observe a variety of animals in their natural habitats. Moreover, all the features of their behavior are clearly explained from a scientific point of view. But what if you need to make the same film about animals that went extinct tens of millions of years ago? If in feature films it was possible to replace dinosaurs with dolls or dress actors in rubber suits, then these techniques do not work when creating documentaries. Therefore, high-quality scientific and educational films and series about the era of dinosaurs appeared only with the development of computer technology. Today, we will talk about the most iconic documentaries about these prehistoric lizards. Subscribe to the channel. This will allow you to be the first to know when new videos are released and share your opinion about them using comments. We encourage our viewers to more actively express support for the creators of the channel. To do this, just like the episode. All your actions help promote the channel and increase audience. For the first time, Steven Spielberg managed to bring live dinosaurs to life on screen in his cult film Jurassic Park. The first of the franchise was released in 1993. And although this film cannot be called a documentary, the dinosaurs in it were created taking into account the latest scientific discoveries. Dinosaurs began to be portrayed exactly like Spielberg's in new documentaries. For a very long time, they remained very similar to modern reptiles. Although even during the filming of Jurassic Park, theories about the warm-bloodedness of dinosaurs and the presence of plumage became widespread. This is how many viewers saw dinosaurs in the landmark 6-part documentary series Walking with Dinosaurs in 1999. The film was made for the BBC in the UK. Each episode lasts about 30 minutes. All the facts presented in the series were confirmed by real finds or the most common theories. Each episode tells a story from the life of a specific dinosaur. All this happens against the backdrop of landscapes that are as close as possible to living conditions of those animals. The dinosaurs themselves were made using computer graphics, which were used in Spielberg's films. Also, the special effects creators cleverly inserted naturalistic moving dolls. The success of this series spawned many sequels. They not only told the era of dinosaurs, but also other geological periods and living creatures that lived then. Among them are the following films: Walking with Dinosaurs, In the Land of Giants, 2000. 2 new episodes of 30 minutes each in which the narrator, naturalist Nigel Marven, was placed in the frame with the help of editing along with the main predators of the Mesozoic. Walking with Dinosaurs, The Ballad of Big Al, 2000. The life story of the main predator of North America, the Allosaurus, from the moment of birth, consisting of 2 30-minute episodes. Walking with Monsters, 2001. 6 episodes about animals that became masters of the planet after the extinction of dinosaurs. Walking with Sea Monsters, 2003. This time, Nigel Martin and his assistants were equipped with modern technical means and sent to study prehistoric seas and oceans. In 3 episodes, the filmmakers compiled a unique rating of 6 seas from different geological periods. They ranked these seas in orders of increasing danger and the monsters that inhabited them. The Jurassic and Cretaceous seas took first place in this conditional ranking. Although the original title of series does not contain the word walks, it is a logical continuation of the first series and is filmed according to the same principles. Walking with Cavemen, 2003. In a 4-part film with a total duration of about 100 minutes, Professor Robert Maurice Winston introduces viewers to the development of man. We observe its development from the Australopithecus to Homo sapiens. With the help of excellent makeup, modern actors were created into very naturalistic ancestors of our species. Also, the most modern computer technologies at that time were used to create surroundings. It is noteworthy that for the American version of the voiceover, it was read by famous Hollywood actor Alec Baldwin. Walking with Monsters: Life Before Dinosaurs, 2005. 3 episodes filmed in the same format and telling about the animals that inhabited Earth before the appearance of dinosaurs. Also, almost 15 years after the release of the first series, a 90-minute film, Walking with Dinosaurs 3D, was shot. Using newer computer graphics, it chronicles the life of a pachyrhinoceros named Patches. Pachyrhinosaurs are ceratopsians that lived in Canada and the United States approximately 70 million years ago. They could grow up to 26 feet in length. The mass of these herbivorous dinosaurs reached about 4 tons. The film was shot to be viewed in 3D, thus its creators wanted to immerse viewers in the era of dinosaurs as much as possible. In the story, Patches gradually turns from a weak and clumsy cub into the leader of his herd. Throughout its various stages of development, this dinosaur faces various challenges and learns to survive in the harsh world of the late Cretaceous period. As a result, the creators, instead of a documentary film, turned out to be the most artistic 3-dimensional cartoon. Critics accused him of scientific errors when describing dinosaurs and of excessively humanizing the characters. Each hero had its own character and behaved like a person, showing weaknesses and demonstrating shortcomings. This film can serve as an example of the unfortunate bias towards new technologies, and at the same time its documentary component faded to the background. Unfortunately, the film was not the most successful point in a series of quality educational films for the whole family. But even before the advent of Walking with Dinosaurs, the joint Anglo-American series Paleo World was released from 1994 to 1997. During its release, it was acquired by the Discovery Channel. Over 4 seasons, 50 short episodes dedicated to the work of paleontologists were filmed. Dinosaurs were shown mainly in the forms of drawings, fossils, and reconstructed skeletons. But part of life in the age of dinosaurs was illustrated with the help of movable dolls. They didn't look as natural as they did in Walking with Dinosaurs, but the series itself became fully scientific and educational. Also simultaneously with Walks in 1999, the 6-episode series When Dinosaurs Ruled was released on Discovery Channel. Each 52-minute episode was dedicated to dinosaurs that lived on different continents. Also in the 2000s, several films and miniseries appeared about dinosaurs from Asia and North and South America. Among them are Huge Dinosaurs, 2000. A British documentary from the BBC about 2 giants, Argentinosaurus and Gigantosaurus, who lived at the same time on the South American continent. When Dinosaurs Roamed America, 2001. An hour-and-a-half 2-part film of the Discovery Channel telling about the animals that inhabited different states of the United States during the Age of Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs, Giants of Patagonia, 2007. Is a 40-minute Canadian film about 2 Argentine giants, Argentinosaurus and Gigantosaurus. It presents new discoveries and theories about these dinosaurs. Dinosaur Trap, 2007. This short film from the National Geographic Channel tells the story of mysterious pits discovered in the Chinese part of the Gobi Desert. In them, one above the other, were fossilized remains of several dinosaurs belonging to different species. Australia Time Travel, 2012. 4-episode Australian miniseries dedicated to the formation of the continent and the appearance of life on it. Some episodes are dedicated to the era of dinosaurs. Also in our review, we could not ignore documentaries created with the participation of the great David Attenborough. Born in 1926, this naturalist and broadcaster was one of the founders of the entire genre of wildlife documentaries. Several dozen fossils and modern animals were even named in his honor, including a genus of plesiosaurs from the Jurassic period. Among many works of this journalist, there are films about dinosaurs. For example, Wing Monsters 2011. Attenborough talks about pterosaurs in this over 1-hour documentary. The viewer learns about the history of their appearance, the development of the air element, and possibly options for further evolution. Attenborough and the Giant Dinosaur 2016. The famous journalist covers the discovery and research of a new species of dinosaur, Titanosaurus, discovered in Argentina. The film takes place at excavations and in scientific laboratories. Scientists talk about the habits and appearance of this giant. Attenborough and the Sea Dragon 2018. This time, David Attenborough talks about the process of examining a well-preserved skeleton of an Ichthyosaurus, approximately 200 million years old. In 2022, despite his advanced age, David Attenborough took part in another big project. The series Prehistoric Planet tells about the life of dinosaurs that inhabited different climate zones. Currently, 10 episodes have been released, divided into 2 seasons. The series is jointly produced by 2 major studios, BBC and Apple TV+. Modern computer technology, based on the latest paleontological research, has made dinosaurs on the screen even more real. Before this, even in documentary projects, feathered dinosaurs were very rare. In the same series, all of them are shown in full accordance with modern scientific ideas. It is simply impossible to fit all the interesting documentary projects about the era of dinosaurs into the timing of one issue. Over the past 20 to 30 years, a huge number of similar films and TV series have been released. So if you'd like to know more about them, please let us know in the comments below. I bet you didn't know this, but the first animated character in history was a dinosaur. A female brontosaurus named Gertie was painted by Winsor McCay in 1914. Since then, many cartoon dinosaurs of various types have appeared on the screens. Moreover, among them, there were both positive and negative heroes. Some cartoons were educational and authentic. In others, cartoon characters were very different from their prototypes. But children's love of dinosaurs has invariably brought success to most full-length cartoons and TV series. Today, we're going to introduce you to some of them and tell you how the appearance of cartoon dinosaurs has changed over time. Subscribe to the Age of Dinosaurs channel. This will allow you to be the first to know when new releases are released. Our viewers can also help in the development and promotion of the channel by liking and commenting on the video about dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures. Fantasy 1940. One of the first significant appearances of dinosaurs in animation did not occur until 1940. Disney Studios released a 125-minute musical, Fantasia. This cartoon was a kind of experiment and was slightly different from classic Disney. The film was accompanied by classical music performed by an orchestra conducted by Leopold Stokowski. One of the episodes of the cartoon is dedicated to the evolution of the origin of life to the death of all dinosaurs. All dinosaurs present in this segment are quite recognizable and fully correspond to the idea of them in the first half of the last century. The episode culminates with a Tyrannosaurus rex attacking a herd of herbivorous dinosaurs and its battle with a large Stegosaurus. All this happens to the melody from the ballet The Rite of Spring by Igor Stravinsky. Compared to the kind and cheerful Walt Disney cartoons, this scene looks quite realistic and dark. The Flintstones 1960. During the 7 years that this animated series about the life of a family of cavemen was published, viewers saw 166 episodes. Despite the fact that the Flintstone family lived in the Stone Age, they had a huge number of attributes from completely different eras. They would drive in stone cars, celebrate Christmas, and even smoke cigars. Therefore, none of the viewers should be embarrassed that, all at the same time as this, the world surrounding the Flintstones is also populated by dinosaurs. One of them even lives in their cave as a pet. The Flintstones' pet is simply called Dino, and belongs to a fictional species, Snorkosaurus. Dino looks like a dinosaur, only in appearance. In all other aspects, he behaves like a dog, wagging his tail, playing with various objects, and constantly tries to lick his owner's face. Dino, the Boy in the Lost Valley, 1966 to 1968. Apparently, the animators at that time did not bother much about the scientific accuracy of the plot of their works. Following the Flintstones, this series mixed animals from a variety of geological eras. Fictional creatures were also added to them. According to the plot of the animated series, a boy named Todd jumped out of a dying plane with a parachute and landed in an amazing valley. In the depths of the South American jungle, dinosaurs, Neanderthals, mammoths, and saber-toothed tigers had been preserved in one place. Among the creatures that lived during the era of dinosaurs, in this cartoon, you can find a Brontosaurus, a Tyrannosaurus, a Triceratops, a Pteranodon, which is called a pterodactyl, and a giant crocodile, which perhaps represents the Deinosuchus. Dinosaur Mountain, 1967. Even Soviet animators could not ignore the theme of dinosaurs. The original version of the reasons for their extinction is present in the short animated parable, Dinosaur Mountain. Of course, the dinosaurs present in this cartoon only vaguely resemble giant prehistoric lizards, but even then, Soviet children could see that dinosaurs became extinct due to global cooling. The Land Before Time, 1988. In the 70s, 80s, and the 20th century, many full-length cartoons and TV series were shot in which dinosaurs were present in one way or another. But the first part of the franchise, produced by Steven Spielberg even before the filming of Jurassic Park, became one of the best cartoons about dinosaurs. For several generations of children in different countries, it became the beginning of a fascination with these prehistoric lizards. The plot of the cartoon centers on the journey of a group of baby herbivorous dinosaurs to the Great Valley. Having strayed from their herd, the kids, led by a diplodocus named Littlefoot, overcome difficulties, learn to be friends, emerging victorious from various difficult situations. Each of the cartoon characters has its own unique character and is strongly associated with ordinary teenagers and adults. The franchise turned out to be so popular that by 2016, 14 full-length cartoons and one series have been released. On the other hand, this is a high-quality family cartoon. On the other hand, it can be considered as the first textbook on studying dinosaurs for the little ones. All types of dinosaurs in it have their own name, different from the scientific one. But when a child hears about long necks, 3 horns, and sharp teeth, he knows exactly what kind of dinosaur he's talking about. We're Back, 1993. Apparently, in the wake of the success of The Land Before Time, Steven Spielberg became the producer of another full-length cartoon about dinosaurs based on the book written by Hudson Talbot. This story tells how a scientist managed to transport 4 dinosaurs to modern times. At the same time, he made them kind and reasonable. They were supposed to bring joy to children who dreamed of meeting live dinosaurs. The plot of the musical cartoon revolves around the friendship of dinosaurs with a boy named Lewis and their fight against an evil scientist who wants to turn lizards back into evil animals. Dinosaur 2000. This Disney cartoon was one of the first computer-animated films in history. The first viewers were able to appreciate the revolutionary graphics of the time and an excellent plot for the family. At the same time, dinosaurs are depicted quite realistically. The way they moved looked similar to the prototypes as imagined by scientists. It all starts when a ready-to-hatch iguanodon egg ends up in the hands of a family of lemur-like primates. In the first few minutes of the film, the viewer is shown the world at the end of the Cretaceous period. We see many predators, herbivores, and flying lizards, as well as birds. A dinosaur named Aladar was adopted into a family of lemurs and lived with them until a meteorite fell on the island where they lived. Aladar and several of his adopted relatives set off on a journey to unharmed lands, along with a herd of herbivorous dinosaurs. Along the way, the main character makes new friends and becomes a strong leader. Ice Age 3: Age of the Dinosaurs. In the third part of the famous franchise, the main characters find themselves in a mysterious underground world inhabited by non-extinct dinosaurs. This cartoon combined graphics. All the animals are quite recognizable and similar to real dinosaurs and inhabitants of the Earth during the Ice Age. During their adventures, a family of mammoths, Diego the saber-toothed tiger, and Sid the sloth, encounter a Tyrannosaurus, Ankylosaurs, Decaraptors, and flying reptiles. The main negative character chosen is not the T-Rex or even the Carnotaurus, but the lesser famous Baryonyx. Tarbosaur, 2011. This three-dimensional South Korean cartoon is significantly different in its plot from the cartoons we're used to. Although here dinosaurs are quite humanized, in many ways they remain dangerous prehistoric animals. In terms of genre, this film is more likely to be a drama. Its plot centers on the life of a male Tarbosaurus and his revenge for the loss of his family. The main villain is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Both of these species are related to each other, and they belong to the Cretaceous period. But Tarbosaurus lived in Asia, and T-Rexes lived in North America. Their presence on the Asian continent is still a big question. The Legend of Dinosaurs, 2011. This completely computer-animated film can be classified as a documentary genre. In some way, it became a worthy successor to the famous Walking with Dinosaurs. It can be criticized for not having the most modern graphics at that time, but the great advantage is the dramatic plot based on scientific facts. The film tells about the migration of a herd of Edmontosaurus toward the North Pole to rich pastures and the migration of a predatory Trude following their prey. The main characters are a young male Edmontosaurus and a Troodon. Good Dinosaur, 2015. Surprisingly, this high-quality feature-length cartoon from Pixar was not successful at the box office. Its authors suggested how the civilization of dinosaurs could have developed if a huge meteorite had flown past our planet. Here, herbivorous dinosaurs engage in agriculture, and carnivorous theropods herd herds of buffaloes, while the developed humans were living in the forests like animals. The main character, a teenage Apatosaurus, Arlo, is trying to return to his farm. A human child named Juzuk helps him with this. Dinosaur Train, 2009 to 2020. We are left with probably the most educational animated series about dinosaurs. It consists of 6 seasons and introduces viewers to many facts about animals from the era of dinosaurs. Its main characters are a family of flying fish-eating lizards, pteranodons. Surprisingly, a dinosaur egg of a different species ends up in their nest. Together with 3 small pteranodons, a baby grows up and tries to find out what species he belongs to. In the process, it turns out that the fondling was a T-Rex. To confirm various hypotheses about the life of dinosaurs, the characters of this series travel on a magic train that can travel not only across continents, but also through periods in which dinosaurs lived. At the end of each episode, there's an explanation of facts shown from a real paleontologist.
Most of us have learned that tens of millions of years ago, our planet was inhabited by giant lizards from feature or animated films. In them, they acted as positive or negative heroes. Dinosaurs could also be minor characters or act as background to the story. But in each work, they were depicted differently. Today, we'll talk about the evolution of dinosaurs on the screen and where they turned out to be closest to their real appearance. Subscribe to the Age of Dinosaurs channel. This will allow you to be the first to know about new publications. We also encourage our viewers to more actively express their opinions in the comments under each video. In addition, your likes will help promote the channel and expand its audience. We could say that the first appearance of dinosaurs on the screen occurred simultaneously in both cinema and animation. In 1914, a short film, Gertie the Dinosaur, was made. According to the plot of the film, one of the first animators, Winsor McCay, brings to life the skeleton of a brontosaurus from a museum on a dare. He does this using animation. Before this, the artist drew dinosaurs in various comics. Gertie was not only the first animated dinosaur, but also the first cartoon character in history. She has her own bright character and expresses emotions. The cartoon brontosaurus corresponds to scientific ideas about dinosaurs in the early 20th century. Gertie, at the request of the animator, follows simple commands and interacts with the audience. Several thousand drawings were created during the creation of this short cartoon. The author paid attention to the smallest details, such as pressing the soil when walking. The cartoon about Gertie the Dinosaur was a breakthrough in animation technology of its time. An unidentified aquatic lizard with a long neck also appears in the frame. This film could even have a sequel. In 1921, the film Gertie's Travels was made, but its full version is considered lost. Now only isolated fragments have survived. According to the plot, Gertie was supposed to visit New York and Washington, swing on the Brooklyn Bridge, and taste the Washington Monument. Gertie also left her mark on real science. One of the holotypes of a primitive theropod, Chindezora, is unofficially named in her honor. For more than 100 years, a huge number of films, TV series, and cartoons have been shot in which dinosaurs appear. Among them are several works that have become iconic for the entire world culture. The Ghost of Sleepy Mountain, 1918. Clocking in at less than 20 minutes, the silent film was the first dinosaur movie to be produced with the assistance of a scientific consultant. Its creator, Willis O'Brien, was advised by the legendary Barnum Brown. Therefore, puppet dinosaurs are shown in the film in full accordance with the latest scientific discoveries. The plot tells how the writer and artist Jack Holmes fell asleep during an expedition to the mysterious Sleepy Mountain. In a dream, he saw the ghost of a hermit who lived in a hut on the slope of this mountain. He showed the traveler a mysterious optical device through which one can observe pictures from bygone eras. First, the writer was able to observe the brontosaurus. Then he saw how the terrible bird, Phororhacos, was hunting a snake. The hero of the film says that he saw a world 40 million years distant from us in time. Here, they apparently follow Brown, which is a little mistaken. Modern data says that dinosaurs became extinct 65 to 66 million years ago, and Phororhacos appeared about 20 million years ago. The key moment of the film was the battle between two Triceratops and the attack on one of them by the main predator of the dinosaur era, the Tyrannosaurus. Barnum Brown was the man who discovered this dinosaur to the whole world. Triceratops and T-Rex dolls are made quite similar to reconstructions from the beginning of the last century. They move and behave correctly when confronted with each other. The Lost World, 1925. The first film adaptation of Arthur Conan Doyle's famous science fiction novel was also directed by Willis O'Brien. A group of researchers led by Professor Challenger sets off in search of the mysterious Maple White Plateau. It's located in an unexplored part of the African jungle. Thanks to complete isolation from the outside world, dinosaurs were preserved on it. At the same time, the distant ancestors of humans also live next to dinosaurs. The film features a large number of long-necked sauropods. Most likely, it was a collective image of dinosaurs of this species. Viewers were also able to see a battle between two large theropods, apparently one of which was supposed to depict the Tyrannosaurus rex. The Tyrannosaurus also attacks the traveler's camp, a Triceratops, and an unidentified pterosaur. All models were made of rubber and moved using hinges. Their appearance was based on the famous drawings of paleontologist Charles Knight. These images were considered the most reliable throughout the first half of the last century. The Triceratops in the film shown to be simply gigantic in size. He looks no less than a T-Rex. Moreover, the three-horned dinosaur was able to defeat one predator, but died from the teeth of a second. Immediately after the victory, the Tyrannosaurus catches a large pterosaur in flight. When viewing it, a modern viewer may well get the impression that its creators tried to stuff in all the dinosaurs studied at that time. Many of them looked and behaved quite strangely, but for people who watched The Lost World almost 100 years ago, it was very entertaining and exciting. This is confirmed by box office receipts. This film became the first in history to earn more than $1 million at the box office. King Kong 1933 and 2005. In our review, we could not ignore this popular franchise. The main character of a series of science fiction films is a giant ape. They live on an island lost in the ocean and is a deity for the locals. The plot revolves around a group of travelers who visit the island in order to search for the mysterious King Kong. One of the monster's main rivals is also a miraculously preserved descendant of the Tyrannosaurus rex, Vastasaurus rex. In the first film, made in 1933, the giant figures are made in the form of dolls. The skin of the Vastasaurus is covered with scales that more closely resemble the armor of a crocodile. No less funny is the moment when he scratches his head with his short front paw. It's unlikely that the body structure of a tyrannosaurid allowed such movements. In the more recent 2005 remake from Peter Jackson, Kong is attacked by 3 Vastasaurus. Both the monkey and the dinosaurs are created using computer graphics. Theropods are depicted in accordance with the canonical image from Jurassic Park. Thanks to modern technology, the monsters move more realistically, and the battles more dynamic. The Monster from 20,000 Fathoms, 1953. In the 50s of the last century, the use of nuclear weapons as a topic was very relevant. The first in a series of such films was the American science fiction blockbuster The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms in 1953. For him, the scriptwriters came up with a non-existent species of dinosaur, Retosavra. The body shape of this monster resembled an iguanodon, which in fact was not even a dinosaur. Retosaurus was distinguished by its large size, the absence of a sail on its back, and the ability to exist underwater. Moreover, as the plot progressed, the monster regularly rose to its hind legs. The filmmakers were inspired by Ray Bradbury's short story, Howler. In it, 2 lighthouse workers observe a giant dinosaur-like creature at sea. In one episode of the film, the Retosaurus even destroys a lighthouse. This monster awoke from hibernation in the Antarctic ice after nuclear tests were conducted there. The main character of the film was one of the scientists who conducted these tests. While the dinosaur sinking ships and destroying coastal structures, he and his associates are trying to reach leading paleontologists and the military. The authorities begin to take active action only when the monster appears in New York. In addition to its enormous size and sharp teeth, the dinosaur poses another threat to humans. His blood contains a dangerous virus. Therefore, you can't kill him with conventional weapons. You can only defeat the dinosaur by shooting a radioactive charge at it, which also kills the virus. Godzilla, 1954 and 1998. When covering cinematic dinosaurs, we can't ignore another famous franchise. The first film about a 50-meter dinosaur with radioactive breath was filmed in Japan in 1954. Over the years, there have been numerous Godzilla sequels and remakes, and 2 of them, in 1962 and 2021, even became King Kong's rival. In the original script, Godzilla didn't even look like a dinosaur. Its Japanese name is a combination of the words whale and gorilla. It's believed that the creators of the monster were initially inspired by the series of films about King Kong. By that time, 3 films had already been made about the adventures of the giant ape. Moreover, one of them was made in Japan. It was decided to change the appearance of the monster after the success of The Monster from 20,000 Fathoms. But the writers left the name unchanged. Moreover, the word Godzilla is an option for Western distribution. In Japanese, it sounds a little different. This huge dinosaur, vaguely similar to a theropod from the era of dinosaurs, awakened in the depths of the ocean after underwater nuclear explosions. Apparently, he received his superpower in the form of nuclear breathing after radiation exposure. This very first film is very different from the sequels and remakes that followed, except that the 1998 version is a little reminiscent of the original. In the first part of the franchise, Godzilla is the personification of the destructive power of nuclear weapons. For American release, references to the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were made a little softer, but the pain of the Japanese from the tragedy they experienced is felt in every frame. And in the 1998 remake, Godzilla isn't even a dinosaur. The monster appeared as a result of radioactive exposure of iguanas during nuclear tests in Polynesia. To create the image of a giant reptile in the first film, a rubber suit weighing about 100 kilograms was used. It was worn by actor Haruo Nakajima, and to create the effect of the enormous size of the monster, miniature cities and ships were built. Subsequent films used a variety of techniques from puppet animatronics to computer graphics. It's noteworthy that in the 1998 film, the monster, descending from an iguana, is most similar to a dinosaur. Although the film was poorly received by critics and Japanese fans, the giant dinosaur behaves as a Tyrannosaurus Rex might. For example, there's no doubt that after Jurassic Park, the technology for creating dinosaurs in films was already sufficiently developed. 1 million years BC, 1966. This film is known to a wide audience primarily for the image of actress Raquel Welch in a fur bikini. But despite all the ahistorical nature of the film, the special effects in it were done very well for its time. It also contains a considerable number of dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures. They're implemented as reliably as possible and correspond to the scientific ideas of that period. The film itself is a remake of the 1940 work of the same name. The action takes place in a fictional time. Animals from the era of dinosaurs, primitive cavemen, and Homo sapiens coexist in it. As the story progresses, the heroes encounter the following creatures. Metrodiochirus is a huge warthog up to 1.5 meters long, which lived on the Pliocene-Pleistocene boundary in Africa. Megalania is an Australian monitor lizard, extinct for 40,000 years and growing up to 5.5 meters in length. Archelon, a giant turtle that weighed more than 2 tons, lived in the seas that covered the United States 80.5 million years ago. Brontosaurus is a sauropod with a body length of up to 22 meters and a weight of up to 15 tons, which lived in North America at the end of the Jurassic period. Allosaurus is a large predatory theropod up to 10 meters long and weighing up to 2.5 tons, which lived there at the same time. Triceratops, a 3-horned herbivorous dinosaur from the late Cretaceous period that grew up to 8 meters in length and weighed up to 9 tons. Ceratosaurus, a predatory theropod up to 7 meters long and weighing up to 700 kilograms from the Jurassic period. Pteranodon is a pterosaur that lived in North America approximately 85 million years ago. Its wingspan reached 7 meters and it weighed only 20 kilograms. Rhomphorhynchus is a small piscivorous pterosaur with a wingspan of no more than 180 centimeters that lived throughout almost all of Europe and North Africa about 150 million years ago. All these creatures from different eras actively fought with people and each other throughout the film. Director Don Chaffee was regularly criticized for taking such liberties with science, but he replied that he made this film not for scientists, but for the common viewer. At the same time, the prehistoric creatures themselves were realized on the screen simply superbly. They were created by the recognized master of special effects, Ray Harryhausen. If Metrodiochirus, Megalania, and a giant spider were played by an ordinary warthog, iguana, and tarantula, then dolls acted as dinosaurs. They looked great on camera and moved realistically. Thanks to competent editing, it was possible to perfectly combine them in the frame with human actors. The Land That Time Forgot, 1975. An adaptation of one of the novels by science fiction writer Edgar Burroughs, written in 1918. The book and film take place during the First World War. In the story, a German submarine torpedoes an English ship. While fleeing, British sailors and passengers unexpectedly capture the submarine. Together with the remaining Germans, they land on an island lost in the ocean. It further turns out that not only ancient people, but also many animals from various geological eras were miraculously preserved on the island. On their way, the heroes meet 8 creatures from the era of dinosaurs. Among them are both predatory theropods, such as Ceratosaurus or Tyrannosaurus, and herbivores. Also featured in the film are pterodactyls and a giant crocodilomorph representing Dinosaur, but they were implemented much worse than in the film 1 million years BC, which was filmed 9 years earlier. To create predatory bipedal dinosaurs, costumes that people wore were used. If such technologies were justified in Godzilla 1954, here it looked cheap and not natural. 4-legged herbivores were depicted by movable dolls, and since they didn't need to move much in the frame, they look more interesting than other dinosaurs. Jurassic Park 1993. A real revolution in the depiction of dinosaurs in cinema was made by the first film of Steven Spielberg's famous franchise Jurassic Park. Viewers saw live dinosaurs on screen for the first time. They were truly scary and deadly. According to the plot of the film, billionaire John Hammond was able to recreate real dinosaurs using genetic engineering. He's going to open an amusement park on a tropical island and show tourists these long-extinct lizards. Before the park opens, he invites a group of scientists to explore the island. But due to bad weather, electric fences and enclosures with predators are switched off. People have to fight a living nightmare from the distant past of our planet. Images of dinosaurs were created in accordance with the latest scientific ideas about them. The perfect combination of high-quality moving puppets and computer graphics literally brought dinosaurs to life on the screen. This is exactly how they remained in subsequent films in this series. Even the 1999 documentary series Walking with Dinosaurs made no attempt to show dinosaurs with feathers. Although at that time, the presence of feathers in some of them had already been proven. It's also long been clear that Tyrannosaurus and other lizards could not growl. Spielberg's film set the highest standard for several decades. Probably no other director's yet been able to surpass him. 65 million years ago, 2023. In the 30 years since the release of Jurassic Park, special effects technology in cinema has advanced very, very seriously. Nowadays, with the help of computer programs, you can create any monster and make it move very naturally. And in general, the lizards in this film are made very well. But when watching it, there's a strong belief that the creators did not even try to seek advice from specialists. Not only did the film about the end of the age of dinosaurs show virtually no dinosaurs, none of them could be clearly identified. And a Tyrannosaurus running on 4 legs, as they say, does not fit into any gaze. It turns out that at the beginning of the film era, the creators of dinosaurs tried to make them consistent with the scientific knowledge of their time, and this trend reached its peak in the 90s of the 20th century. With the development of technology and scientific knowledge, dinosaurs behaved more and more naturally. Even fictional dinosaurs were in many ways similar to their prototypes. True, recently there's been a tendency to create extremely unhistorical monsters, but I'd like to believe that someday the viewer will be interested not only in following the development of the plot, but also in the realism and logic of the worlds created by directors and screenwriters. We thank the viewers who watched this episode to the very end. If you're interested in learning about other films in which dinosaurs appear, then write about it in the comments, and you can get acquainted with the life of real dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals using our previous videos.